Hey everybody, driving in the garden here. Everybody's doing their midsummer tour, so I thought I would jump on the bandwagon because things are looking really good. I'm loving them. And we have a new addition to our little homestead wannabe. It's not actually a homestead because we don't have a farm, we don't have any animals or anything like that. We have some cats. And somehow this little guy and his sister showed up, and he's pretty much outdoors. I call him Thing One, and his sister's also gray, and she has little white tips on her feet. She's Thing Two. So I'm getting them fixed next week, but they're outdoors. But so for the gardens, this is over on the west side of the property, and let's see. I'm experimenting with some carrots in a bucket to see how they grow there. They seem to be doing good so far. So this is Orchard 1. I've got a pomegranate back there. I don't know if you can see it. There's only one of them, and so far this is the first year it's actually given me blooms. I haven't had any fruit off of it yet. This is my all-in-one almond tree. This is also 3 years old. Despite having literally thousands of blooms on it this spring, and the spring being warm enough that there were bees all over it, it still gave me 0 almonds. Although the first year that I had it from the nursery, it gave me a handful, so I know it produces them. I'm not sure it's an all-in-one, which would be annoying. But that would be finding a graft and grafting a branch on there for a pollinator. But this right here is Herb Bed 1. And my husband wanted cilantro. I said, it's kind of warm for cilantro, it'll go to seed quickly. So went to seed. I'm fine with that because coriander. So I'm waiting for that to come through. So this is Herb Bed 1. And this is all kitchen herbs, the things that we actually use. This right here is my plum tree. This is my Santa Rosa plums. And there's one back there. In between I've got oregano and then some self-seeding nasturtiums. This is the first year that the nasturtiums are looking really good. They've looked really crappy before, but this is also the year that I added additional irrigation to it. This right here will also be a bed the same way that one is framed. This one will be framed, and that's going to be my comfrey bed. Right now there's just 3 little plants in it. This is largely a shade bed. I know that comfrey is a sun-loving plant, so there'll be small comfreys, and I'll have lots of them. This is going to be another in-between bed. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. Right now it's just got nasturtiums, and then whatever that little guy is a holdover from the original owners of the house. So this is my Macintosh apple tree in between them here. Let's see, so then we move into my lettuces bed, and this guy is looking great, especially since I added this to the shade cloth. That worked really well. These guys have not bolted at all. Yeah, so I've got some iceberg lettuces starting up, a couple of seeds to put in there and let them grow. I've discovered I actually really like iceberg. I know a lot of people are down on it, but I like it. And so here's some others, and my radishes got bigger than anticipated, but I do have some. They'll be coming out soon, or they're coming out now. I'm harvesting them for lunch. And then in between I've got another plum tree. This starts with an S, and I keep calling it the Sambuca tree, but obviously it's not Sambuca, but whatever it is. It's another really good plum. It's a red plum all the way through. Then in the middle here is oregano. No, thyme. What the heck is this? Yeah, this is thyme. So I have 3 different thymes in here, but underneath it is daffodils, literally hundreds of bulbs that have been gathered from the rest of the property and put here because the previous owner loved daffodils and they were everywhere, so they've been consolidated to this bed. So in the spring, this guy is just Daffodil City. So these are all daffodils, so that's why those are in the pots. I've cut the bottom out of the pot so they'll grow in, but I couldn't dig them in without destroying all of the other bulbs, so that's where we are there. This is going to be another bed. This is going to be a full shade bed. And my husband's like, why don't you plant all of your mint in it and just let them duke it out? I'm tempted. We'll see what I do with it. I've already got peppermint growing in there. But over in those two pots over here, see, where can I point? This one closest to the wall here, that one, that's chocolate mint. And then the other one is strawberry mint. Yum yum, great for tea. So then I've got peppermint over here, and I don't know what that little guy is. He's one of the decorative plants that actually managed to live. And then my last apple tree here, and this is a Granny Smith. And we're actually gonna get some apples, yay. Zoom back out. Then in this back area, I've got some more, let's see, lemon balm in the front here, right there. And then in the second one is spearmint, and then sweet mint at the far end. And I've got one elderberry growing back there, and I need to plant another elderberry so that way we actually get elderberries. But the idea is to keep them no bigger than the roses, so they'll be my prune too. What, kitten? Okay, so going through. Okay, so we're in the midst of renovation. So this line, see how we have the yard timbers there to separate the gravel from the grass? We're going to do the same thing here, except we're going to be moving this line over further because this is too small to get a lawnmower through. So this is going to be an extension of the grass up into here and under this massive jacaranda tree. And I can't point you towards the sun, you'll be blinded. But it is a massive jacaranda tree. There isn't another jacaranda even close to this size. He is just amazing, and I absolutely love this tree. And I've got my little egg chair, and I've got my cushions. I come out and sit here and just enjoy. But so in the back here, the only vine that has done really well is the honeysuckle, but it didn't get anywhere near as big as I wanted it to, because the idea with all the vines was to cover the wall. Well, I didn't do it well, so live and learn. So I'm removing. You can see this is a work in progress. So the gravel used to go all the way to the wall. I will be pulling back the landscape material, and underneath the landscape material, can you see the gopher wire? So the gopher wire is everywhere underneath all of the gravel here to keep gophers from coming up, and boy has it been awesome. So I'm going to pull up the landscape material, leave the gopher wire, and then this will be filled with mulch. And the idea with this is that I want the mulch to start rehabilitating this dirt, because this is pure, just dried, sandy dirt. It's very poor quality. And that's one reason why these vines have not been doing very well, is because it is really poor quality dirt. So I'm in the process of rehabilitating this dirt. It's going to be several years, I know that, which is fine. So there's that. On the other side of this wall, there is a small section between the wall and the sidewalk, and then the road. And in that section, I'm going to be doing this to frame that section, and then I'll fill it with mulch, or same bark chips. And then I'm going to plant a variety of nitrogen fixing things there as my kind of guerrilla garden. And then hopefully the nitrogen fixers on that side, I'll have to drill through the wall and put irrigation on that side of the wall, because right now it's just a patch of dry sand. So trying to rehabilitate that, and in rehabilitating that, it will help whatever I choose to plant here. And so you see the gray pipe there. This is our water pipe, and this was the only water pipe back here, so it wasn't enough. So I extended it out, and I went down that way all the way to the end, and then it goes all along. There's the first, I don't know, can you see it? Here, let me zoom in. There it is. So there is the first of the hoses. And then the line continues to run along, and over there on the far side of the squashes. Let's see if I can zoom in. Can you see it? No, it's not a good angle. Oh yeah, wait, there it is. You can see the curly Q of the hose pipe hanging there. That's where the second one is. And there is an extension that will run along and finish out, and when the new shed goes in over there, which is going to be my gardening shed, I'm going to be installing water to the shed, so that way I actually have somewhere to plant, somewhere to, you know, do all the seedlings and everything and water them and stuff like that without having to carry water back and forth. So that's that. And then I'm going to be extending it. You can see I've got the valve on there that's closed, and so once I've extended it, it's going to go out this way, turn the corner, and be probably somewhere over there near that first apple tree, and that will be my water for over there, so I'm not trailing hoses all over the place like I am now. Okay, so that's the plan for the water, and that's what I've done and what I'm doing. And this here is a new one this year. This is my passion fruit vine, and this is just 1 year. I mean, I think the plant was like 2 years old when I got it from the grocery or the nursery, because I got another one that's a stick in the ground. It is nowhere near as dramatic as this. So I've got another one to be planted, but is a lot younger. But looky, I've got my first set of passion fruit. So excited. But I have learned, there's another one starting there. But I have learned, because let's see, when it flowers, let's see, there was a flower over here earlier today. There it is. Yep. So here's the flower. It is really a dramatically beautiful flower. There. Really a pretty flower. But I have learned that if I take the pollen from this flower and pollinate the stamens there, I think that's whatever the term is, take the male part and pollinate the female part with the flower, with the pollen from the same flower, nothing happens. So as an experiment, these three were all blooming on the same day, and so I took pollen from one, pollinated another flower, and then, you know, basically I round robined all three of them. So I pollinated each of them with pollen that was not their own, and now I got fruit. Well, there you go. So if you have a passion fruit vine, that might be the way to go. Let's see. Oh yeah. These are also new additions this year. I planted 3 fig trees. This one is a black mission, and this one is doing pretty well. See all the little babies coming in. It's even got some fruit. Not a lot, but some. So this is my black mission. And then we go over, here's the second one. And this guy is a Peter's honey, and he was ailing for a while, and then I started pouring on the water, and now he's recovered and he's doing great. Coming up all over the place, so happy. And this guy's, we're gonna get, 2 or 3 figs to try. I know they say that the figs from the fruit from the first year is not always the best, so if it's not as good as I would hope, then just wait. Let's see. So along the back here, the rest of these vines, I'm going to be pulling some of these decorative vines and replacing them with food vines, or I'm trying to convince my husband to let me espalier some trees back here. We'll see how that goes. But right here I'm setting up the lines. This was an experiment. We did this on our first house when we were down in Van Nuys, and we covered the south wall with grapevines and used a wire trellis like this, and it did great. And oh my gosh, did it make a temperature differential. And then yeah, that made that room usable to have those giant leaves and that vine on that wall. So yeah, that's what we learned. Use vines to cover walls. But so we'll be putting more passion fruit in, but I don't know how much passion fruit I can eat. I would love to have some kind of vine that's a nut, but I don't think I've never seen one. But that's why I'm kind of like, if we can do a espalier, a tree back here, especially like that's a bougainvillea that has been decimated by whitefly, and I'm kind of like, well, if we can replace that with a fruit-bearing thing, I'll be really happy. Oh, hello there. In case you can't tell, I feed the neighborhood birds. Which, this guy is not a welcome addition to that particular interest. Okay, so this one is my last of the 3 figs that we planted, and this is a celestial. This one is also going to give us a couple of figs to try and see. Hopefully we'll like them. I've actually never eaten a fig before, so hopefully I like them. But I know my husband does, so, and they dry well. That's one of the reasons I was fine with that. So this is a newbie. This is a Meyer lemon. Our previous, we had another lemon tree, and it was giving us football-sized fruits that were 90% rind. So we just cut the whole tree down. And in this spot is a Meyer lemon. You can see this guy was struggling. He was struggling quite badly, but it was also full of fruit and flowers. So I knocked all the baby fruits off and I knocked all the flowers off, and then it immediately put all that energy into growing new leaves. So I am much relieved. I thought this guy was going to die, but nope. So yes, we're going to be grafting onto this guy some lime branches. So we'll have a lemon lime tree here. So you're familiar with my garden. I've got 5 4x8 beds and 2 3x8 beds. So the watermelon is doing fantastic. I did kind of a informal inventory. Let's see if I can find one. Oh yeah, hiding in there. I believe I got up to about 24 or 25 watermelon. And yeah, there's even some, I haven't seen any cantaloupes yet, but they may be hiding. But I have seen some banana melons, which was kind of a lark. I saw it at the store and I was like, what is a banana melon? So I grabbed that. That's doing great. And I've got a couple of banana melons. Yay! And the watermelon bed spills over to here. There's a couple of sweet potatoes buried in there, as well as Thai basil. And then over here is a couple more sweet potatoes. Actually 3 more sweet potatoes here. And then my pickling cucumbers. And then here are my Hickory King corn, doing really well. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I've got a barrel here. I've not been particularly pleased with this experiment. I will probably not be overwintering peppers again, but that's another video. Random things, some corn that, a potato that volunteered. This is a muncher, and I love the muncher cucumbers, so yay, looking forward to that. Here's my Bing cherry tomato. He's doing really well in this pot. I have some bird mesh on it to keep them from tearing open my tomatoes and eating the seeds. But I've also gotten some beets hiding in the foliage there, so that way they take advantage of the shade so they can stay cool and grow. Excuse me. And they seem to be doing a good job. So these are my beans. There was supposed to be lots of pole beans, but I messed up and got a lot of bush beans instead. But these are all Blue Lake, whether they're Blue Lake pole or Blue Lake bush, doesn't matter. They're all Blue Lake, which I like Blue Lake. But scattered throughout in other places are different types of beans: dragon's tongue, amethyst, Bamako, Capitano, oh good God, what other names? And lots of other types of, because I just wanted to see how they do. And then I talked to you about my squashes, so they're doing good. growing along. I'll have to look up the name of this gal who gave out this idea. She did a video on this trellis idea, which was really nice. I'll have to give credit where credit is due there. But in this bed I have cucumbers, 3 different squashes, bunch of bush beans, some flowers, some onions, some sweet potatoes, and some beets. So yeah, you can tell I don't like I like polyculture. I'm not a big monoculture fan. Even in my corn bed, I try and stuff something else in there. But in this case, it was interesting. I went to bury some kitchen scraps in there. That underneath that corn is just a giant root ball. There wasn't digging anything through it. Okay, so yeah, they're solidly, despite being as tall as they are, they're really solidly rooted. I'm pleased. But anyway, so I'm not a fan of monoculture, but the closest I get to monoculture would be corn. All right, continuing on. Let's see. Here is another tomato. This is called a patio tomato, and it's designed for container. It started off a little rough, but he's doing much better now. And then I added a bunch of beans with it, a little bit of beets in there, and then some green onions to help keep bugs off. That seems to be doing well. And over here, this was a lemon tree, and now the new tree that goes in its place is a navel orange. So he's doing well. Look at all that, the green coming in. It's actually starting to try and flower. Come on, focus. Yeah, starting to try and flower, so pleased with that guy. And then the final in-ground bed, tomatoes in the back. This is my first year trying this particular trellis. Just gotta say, working pretty good. Then aroma tomato, and then peppers galore. Peppers, lots of peppers, more peppers. And a ridiculously big onion. What is this guy gonna do? He is still growing. Holy crap. Some marigolds. It also has beets in it, some more beans. And then I had a garlic in the kitchen that was sprouting, and I'm like, I stuck it out here. Got some garlic growing. And then got my my container garden, which I'm not overly enthused with. I think this will probably be, unless it's a large wine barrel, this is probably the last year I'll be doing container gardening. My peppers here are not doing really well. That's a poblano pepper. That is a very small poblano. I don't know what shishito peppers is supposed to look like, but these are very small. And then the plants have been struggling ever since. They haven't gotten a whole lot bigger since I put them in here, and anyway, I'm just not overly thrilled with it. The only thing I have really liked is the potatoes. These guys are almost ready to be harvested. These guys came up about a month before these guys did. So I'm expecting that I can harvest these well before I can harvest those. And I think I like growing them in containers, because having volunteer potatoes pop up all over the place has been, while nice, it's also been kind of annoying because it wasn't in the plan, and now it alters the plan trying to work for that. And then my green stalk. I will be doing a different video on my green stalk and how I've just not been able to get this to perform at all. This is the second year growing with it, and yeah, I'll talk about this later. Let's see. Well, there's a row of lavender. This is for my bees to entice them to the garden. And we're going to be pulling out 2/3 of this lawn. You can see the part that's long over there, that's still green and long. That we're going to keep. Everything else is getting ripped out. And my husband shocked the ever-loving stuffing out of me, pleasantly so, by agreeing to my proposal of doubling all of the garden beds in this first space. So basically take this layout, take out the tree there and crunch it together, and then mirror it right over here. including a mirroring of the hedge. Then next to the hedge is going to be another orchard, and that's going to be between 5 and 6 additional fruit trees. So we're in the midst of planning that and trying to find someone to help us come in and scrape soil. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of things that I've learned from permaculture, trying to do like mini swales and some other ways of doing more water management in this area than I did over here, because I didn't know any better over here. But let me experiment over here with some of that and we'll see. So this will be coming in, but obviously it's not yet. So hopefully the plan for that is in the fall. And then we'll be getting in this area right here, which is now a bunch of just junk, is going to be my gardening shed. So yeah, very excited. But anyway, so there is the tour of my little homestead. So yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and at some point in time I'd like to do a video and talk to you a little bit about my experience when I had a homestead and how I failed so hard at homesteading and the lessons that I've learned from it, and why I'm not in a rush to remake the same mistakes again, and instead learn what I can, where I am, and grow. So at some point in time I'll do a video on that. But yeah, so that's where I am. Y'all have fun in your gardens. I look forward to seeing your guys' tours and learning what you have done, what you're planning on doing, and seeing you grow and develop. Y'all have fun in your gardens. Bye.